Okay, good evening, everybody. This is the Public Works Committee special meeting of Common Council on Tuesday, March 5th at 6 p.m. We'll start with the roll call. We have sitting in or online, we have Melissa Murray.
Here.
Thank you. Barbara Smith.
I'm here. Sorry. That is actually doing roll call.
And Berlin. Mara.
That's Jim. Jim. All here. It's early, Jim, right? We're thrown off.
Okay, so is there anybody online who would like to comment? We can open it up for public comment. If there's anybody that's out there, we have 3 minutes and you can comment on anything that's on the agenda.
We do not have anybody for public participation.
I will give it 45 seconds. Okay, is still nobody online for public comment?
There is not.
Okay, why don't we close public comment at this time? And we'll just move to new business. The minutes, as everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes. If I'll accept a motion to accept them as is. Nora, so moved. All in favor? 5, unanimous. Okay. So, Madam Majority Leader, we should direct this to the President. Can we suspend the rules now?
I would think we'd just wait till we have that item since there's no sense in going out of order.
All right, so we'll go through the resolutions here. I think the first, number 2, 3, and 4, which I'll read together, all relate to similar mid-sized projects, and I think we should take them all at once. So I'll read them. Number 2 is authorize Mayor Harry W. Willing to execute an agreement between the City of Norwalk and Peak and Bond, Inc. for the project BPW 2024-1 on-call engineering services. The agreement is for a period of 3 years, billable on an hourly basis for a sum not to exceed $125,000 annually, and with an option to extend for 2 additional terms of 1 year each. Accounts so noted. Number 3 is authorize Mayor Harry W. Lee to execute.
You can't do that, but these are such contracts.
I was the one that had to move because the explanation is the same.
Okay,
So if you want, what you guys wanna.
I just think if it's separate contracts, we have to do it.
Okay,
There's a vote separately.
so
Maybe we could just have Vanessa explain them all.
Yeah.
Probably the first one, and we'll do a quick vote on this, on the
Okay.
second, so at the end, is that okay? Yeah, no worries.
All right, so,
Go ahead.
okay,
I think that you guys have to.
Why don't we read? Why don't you just explain more? That's what it's.
all right,
Yeah, let's move the first
Okay.
one.
The first one.
We'll move the first one, explain them all, and then we'll move the last, the other 2.
So
quickly
the
again.
motion-
Yeah, I'll move that.
okay, so basically, every year we have extended contracts to consultant firms, engineering consultant firms that do specify work for the department. Specialization in areas of stormwater or bridge engineering, whichever it is that's required, in any areas that would be we need more specialization, or perhaps we just don't have enough hours time there. So we've done these every year. This particular one is up for renewal, for a new one, rather say, So we've interviewed 10 engineering firms. We've received bids from 10 engineering firms, proposals from them, and we've interviewed 4 of them, and we've narrowed down to 3 engineering firms that we believe are satisfactory to the city's needs. And they've done work for us in the past. The prices are reasonable, and they all seem to be experienced in the areas that we are going to possibly need assistance in the next few years. So those 3 are Ty and Bond, Weston Sampson Engineers, and AI Engineers.
So the motion is for the Tide, Pig and Bond. Anybody else have any other comments or?
Question, how long have we been using Tegan?
Well, that is a very hard answer because they have been around and they are local from this area. So I believe that, I think that they are doing business for over 30 years. So they probably have been doing business with Norwood for that long.
You said 30?
Yeah, they have been around for a long time. So I know that they have always, so I cannot really give you a final answer. With us on this on-call service, they were on our first of them. Actually, the 3 ones that we are proposing were also on, when we started this contract 3 years ago, they were exactly the 3 ones that we selected. So now, although we went through again, we put it out, we interviewed more people, we got more responses, they still ended up being the 3 best ones. So I know that I really didn't answer your question, Ms. Young, but you know, Ironbark has been working for the city for a long time. On this specific on-call, this will be the second time that we're gonna do the contract with them, the same that we're doing with the others.
And this second contract means how many years? So it's been a.
So it is a 3-year that we wanna do, now with a 2, with an option to 1 year, so total of 3 years. It's exactly what we did last.
Mr. Burr?
So again, my understanding from the last time we did this was that it really did give you guys flexibility, let you sort of pick and choose and, you know, have a selection of services you wouldn't necessarily get in one person. Do we tend to end up using the full 125,000 for each one? Does it vary? each year?
Depends on
Like,
the
how has it
year
been?
and depends on each company.
Okay.
So for instance, we ended up using most of all AI. We ended up using them to design the Cat Fashion Beach as an on-call, remember the Cat Fashion Beach parking lot, so kind of we use some of that money. Ty and Bond, we also use, I would say most of the money, and then Weston and Sampson not as much. Because we know more or less what is their best area, that's why we have 3 of them, and we really do not spend, sometimes there are years that we do. But that's why we try to have different companies, as Jim explained, so we can have a variety. And we try to be fair. We don't give just to one. You know, we always look at the contract and we try to share with the consultant and also who can provide the service for us in a timely manner. Because sometimes we may want one, but they are so busy and we need some drawings right away. So we have to also consider the time that they can provide a service.
It's also project-based. So we anticipate a particular types of projects in the next couple of years. And while we reviewed 10 firms, were all very good firms. They didn't necessarily, while they had good specialties, not necessarily geared towards what the city specifically needs at this particular time.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. No, it seems like it's been really flexible. So it's related to here. Glad we're doing it again.
And I just want to add one thing, because I know that was a question in the past. As Mr. Freer stated, we use this to small, medium projects. If there is a major project, we put out a standalone, right?
And the other thing too is that there are 10 bidders that we have on this. And I assume that there's the minority representation you get for this.
Yeah, we had reviewed everything in terms of selectivity, and part of that was to check out, see which ones are how this well. Those are reported.
That's standard of purchasing.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Okay, all in favor? Yes. Okay, So I'll read the next one. Number 3 is authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute an agreement between the city of Norwalk and Weston Sampson Engineers, Inc. for the project DPW 2024-1. On-call engineering services agreement is for a period of 3 years, billable on an hourly basis for some not to exceed $125,000 annually, and with an option to extend for 2 additional years of 1 year each. Counts noted. This is the same explanation as we just received. I have a motion. Laura? Any comments, questions on this? All in favor? Number 4, authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute an agreement between the city of Norwalk and AI Engineers for the project DPW 2024-1, on-call engineering services. The agreement for a period of 3 years, billable on an hourly basis, with some not to exceed $125,000 annually, with an option to extend for 2 additional terms of 1 year each. Accounts noted. Once again, these are the same as what we had just the previous 2 explanations. Motion. Okay. Any comments or questions on some? Okay. All those in favor? Unanimous again. Wow.
Don't speak.
No, James.
Number 5. Authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute an agreement between the City of Norwalk and Kelowna Concrete and Asphalt Paving LLC for the project RD 2024-1, curbs and sidewalks in Berkeley Street area for some not to exceed $1,888,185. And I'm going to read B as well because that goes with this. Authorize the Chief of Operations of Public Works to execute orders on the contract between the City of Norwalk and Kelowna Concrete and Asphalt Paving LLC for project RD 2024-1, curb sidewalks Berkeley Street area with some not to exceed $188,850. Count so noted. This we have, I think, either Greg or. Okay, thank you. I was going to say something. I think we have Greg. Are you on?
No,
No,
this
this
is
is
ours.
for us.
This is ours.
This is
Oh, I'm
ours.
sorry.
No
TP's got one
changes
further
from-
down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So basically, as you know, every year we have a list of roads that we pave, and as civil good construction procedures, we would fix the curbs and sidewalks, install new ones prior to paving. Berkeley Street and all those surrounding streets in the area are scheduled to be paved, so we would like to get ahead and actually install new sidewalks and replacing the existing ones and curbs as well prior to the paving itself. And any other type of associated construction that's required, drainage, whatnot.
Which is standard procedure.
Standard procedure for all our major roadways that we would be paving.
With the cost of construction going up, is this a real number? Is this gonna be?
This is
It
the
went
number
out to
of
bid. This has gone,
applications.
this has gone out to bid. Oh, actually, thank you. Yes, this has gone out to bid. They are the low bidder at the prices listed here. And Kelowna Concrete has done work for the city before. They've done very reliable work. They've done a good job. So we have no issue about issuing them contracts.
Sure. So there's obviously a lot of construction currently going on in that area. Are we confident that all of the private constructors or private contractors who are building in that area are gonna be done in time, that we're not gonna be seeing sort of
We're
overlap
not gonna
damage?
be on top of each other. That's why, the good thing is that we have the permit department under us in encroachment, so we do know exactly when everyone is out on the street.
Okay.
So this, if you look at West Avenue, we have Pinnacle, let's say on the right side, where we, with redevelopment agency, we're doing all that infrastructure installation that we should be finished by this spring.
Okay,
And then follow up with that building to be finished, and then eventually, that road will get paved and some sidewalks that we're, as of now, probably projecting towards the end of this year or early 25. So what we're gonna do now is take care of the sidewalks on the other side. That probably will take few months as well, and the idea is that after pretty much all that area is done, we'll come and pave a lot of those streets.
okay, so this is primarily the left side.
Left
that you're
side
going up with.
Is just the
Okay.
left side, and some of the areas that the sidewalks are very old, or there is
Okay.
still a couple of gaps. So that's what it is, and that's why we made that as a standalone project, because we know that there is a lot of work instead of, you guys probably gonna see in our next month, another project that we call various sidewalks, where we have small areas, where we have small streets, then we wrap it up as one package, so it can be attractive to the bidders, and then then we go all around. When there is enough work in one certain area, we put that as a standalone project, so that can attract more bidders to it because of the bond requirements.
And I did see that you got 5 bidders, so that's terrific.
Yes,
I can see that.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
sure.
I think what confuses me is I know that we're doing a lot of, like Wall Street, West Avenue kind of stuff. What's the difference between like TMP coming to us for money for, when are they doing roads and sidewalks? I know they're asking.
I-
just
I
you
can
versus the
definitely
Board of
explain
Ed,
that.
or-
So pretty much the rule of the thumb is Public Works only do sidewalks on the streets that we are paving. So it is in our forecast. So that is how we drive the bus here. So what we do first is we come up with a clear paving forecast. And then what we do is we go back and we look if you need to do any utility, we talk to the utility companies, let them know that we are coming. If they need to do any projects, they have to get ahead of us. We look at all the existing utilities that we own on that road that are drainage and sewer, see if any improvements needs to be done. The other thing that we look are on the sidewalks. If they are existing sidewalks there, and if we're changing the grade or the curve, we'll take care of the sidewalks. If a street do not have a sidewalk, usually we do not propose a sidewalk. That is a major difference between
I always get that.
TMP and
But-
Public Works.
So if they're redoing, so they're redoing their own roads too, though.
No, they don't do the
in Wall
paving.
Street, or no?
But no, so
You
the
do,
Wall
okay.
Street, it is a totally separate project that they want to try to bring connectivity to Wall Street
Yeah.
and revamp that. So now that street for us, is Wall Street is out of our paving forecast because we know that a major project is coming up. So if they have the funds, they're gonna end up paving that road under the project. If there is no funds available, it will come back to our forecast after
For
they are
you.
done. Yes, so,
I
but
was-
TMP do not do the paving as paving roads. They don't do that.
You do.
We always do.
I just
yes.
worry about economies of scale. I mean, if 3 different people are bidding out and just, if you're buying one pot of asphalt, and you're,
But they do not pave, we pave.
okay, so you're
So-
doing it even though they're asking. for
You know,
it in
it's
their
it's really
budget.
interesting. I
They
think-
don't ask for the money for paving. The paving, Public
Yeah,
Works,
they-
all the paving, budget is under Public Works.
And sidewalks too?
No, sidewalks are different. Sidewalks, they will do
I
for new
understand how
ones.
they're different,
Yes.
but I mean, they're buying concrete for sidewalks and you're buying concrete for sidewalks, and Board of Ed is buying concrete for sidewalks.
We're replacing existing sidewalks that are, prep ed, something that's forward. They're putting in new sidewalks where there is no current ones, where there's been, Greg would probably
But we
better
do have
as to
two
where.
departments buying concrete for sidewalks. That's what I'm asking.
Not all sidewalks are concrete, some are
Or what-
I
yeah,
asked,
you're
yes,
understanding. There's
so
like
yes,
different-
but, yes, there,
Yeah.
but it's all separate bids. So usually, sometimes when you break down, it can make it more attractive also.
Yeah,
But I think it's important that the concept is that since they're doing all the paving, that they're gonna put their paving plan together over
Yeah.
5 years, 3
Oh,
years.
I
And there is a
understand.
lot of
Yeah.
coordination also, Heather. So, if they have an area that they are proposing some work that is nearby an area that will work,
Yeah.
sometimes we wrap up as one package.
And does then that come out of your budget as opposed to their budget?
Well, sometimes we fulfill with both accounts. So they come up with some money and then we come up with money. We
Like
can,
a
we,
shell game.
but we can do the
Somewhat.
breakdown because we know, as soon as we have the quantities for everything, but the engineers, right, we're very precise. We know exactly how many linear foot of sidewalk will be in the area that Public Works is responsible for, so we can fund that portion. And then TMP, if they want to extend to that, we can also calculate that and do that. We do that. It's very common that sometimes to be able to do a project, we have to fund from different sources. I hope I answered.
Yes, I'm not saying I'm not fiscally responsible.
You know,
I didn't take like that.
It's just like,
Great
it
question.
seems like there's all these pieces that are in all different departments, and I guess do other cities just have one public works department? Are we one of the only cities that has TMP separate? that does
No,
their
there
own
are other,
sidewalks,
we
or-
ended up following a model of creating TMP that some other cities also have.
You know, another thing too is if you had a title next to some of these accounts, you could see which accounts were being funded, and we'll talk about that later on.
But may I
Other
ask,
thing that I would
Sorry.
sorry, may I ask, was the point of your question, Heather, and maybe I missed it, that are we maximizing any volume discounts we can get on concrete? Was that kind of where you initially were going?
It was not a criticism, I was just trying to, you know me, I always like to have information. So
Of
it's
course,
not a
of
criticism at all. I was just like, why am I seeing sidewalks under Board of Ed and sidewalks under TMP and sidewalks under you? And it's like.
So
is
we
there
always
one
get the
person
same
doing
question,
sidewalks?
when we go through the budget
Yeah.
season, you know, we are usually, Public Works is the last one to
Yeah.
present because we have a long budget. And usually they're like, why are you asking for sidewalks? Or the fifth one to come ask for
Yeah.
sidewalks. So, but and our money for sidewalks is only for the roads that we're paving and for existing ones. So, but let's say that if there are projects that we are expanding, that TMP want to expand, there are no sidewalks, but we're gonna be in the area, then that money comes from their budget. But sometimes we make as
So
one
it's not like
project.
you're doing the sidewalks for them and then they have the extra money to do.
No,
what they
we
want.
try to grab everybody's.
The other thing I'd say to that, that I think is maybe related to part of your question, that I was really interested to learn over the last 2 years. So you'll notice, and you see this with Berkeley Street, right? What I think Vanessa and our team have actually done deliberately is actually break some things into smaller projects, because that allows smaller companies to bid on it, which increases our number of bidders, which is, yeah, so it would, like,
Never
there
know,
used to be an
bonding more
impulse.
money for longer, and 7.5% interest is pretty scary. So it's very nice to have. Here's your money, go, get it done.
And that's, I think, and
understand
that's
that,
diversified
yeah.
our contractor pool, which has the ability to actually potentially reduce our costs overall, because there's a lot more competition. So I think it used to be more of a tendency to do one
Big
huge
one.
bid, but then that really favored, certain
And
contractors
they
who
change,
then,
we
had
keep
a lot of
changing the
impulse.
way that we do the program. We have a lot of discussion, like this past week, right? We have a lot of sidewalks to get done this year. And we were here, like, we spent pretty much a good half a day, right? Trying to figure it out, how we're gonna really package that, because we want to get the best value. So sometimes today may be better to make a standalone, but depending on how it changes, we know how the market is, we know who is working where, who is busy, and that's how we try to strategize to get the best value. And to be honest, I'm proud to say that every single project that we're putting in front of you guys today came below our estimate.
That's great.
Thank you. Very funny.
Okay.
I don't know what to ask about that.
I think we got
Manual, and you should create a manual.
5 A and B out
Yeah,
here.
that's-
Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, number 6A, and 6B. This is, authorize Harry W. Harry W. Willing to execute an agreement with Burns Construction Company for project PM 2024-2 and permanent pavement and repairs and surface restoration for an amount not to exceed $626,607.50. Count so noted. And 6B goes with this. Authorize Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on contract with Burns Construction Company for project PM 2024-2, permanent pavement repairs, surface restoration for an amount not to exceed $62,660.75. Count so noted. So this is, thank you. Sorry.
It's not me this time, Jim, it's you. I'm okay. You're making me feel bosh. It's okay.
Because it's stuff up nose and it's just bog my brain. So,
Okay, so basically, every year, as you know, developers and anyone who works in right of way, we charge fees for restoration. So restoration of the roadways, they put temporary patch down there, and then after a period of up to, say, year and a half, maybe 2 years perhaps, we make sure everything's settled out properly. We take the fees that we collect from there and we go out to actually restore them to a proper type of patch. So a proper installation of pavement in the area, and it's something we do every year. So this is the one we have with the fee supplied, and this is what we're looking to move forward to. So within Burns Construction has been the low bidder. They have also done work for us before, and they are reliable. They tend to be good, so we don't have an issue issuing the contract to them as well.
any comment, questions?
I just asked, is it always like, what did you say, 12 to 18 months?
It's,
I thought it's usually a little bit.
We don't do anything before 6 months.
6 months.
What
that's I
happened,
thought, yeah.
so we can only restore, we wait at least 6 months to settle. But when there is a temporary patch, the contractor is responsible to maintain it for 2 years. We try to do that within 2 years. So what happened is, let's say that we had a patch in November of 22, okay? That one is already not in part of the scope of the last year. By the time that now we're gonna put it up, we're gonna get, let's say it is in this contract and then Burns is out on the road, that patch can already be between 18 to 2 years old. That's why we're saying, but mostly we have beneficial now. We're trying to target around 1 year, 14 months, but it's really up to 2 years that sometimes we ended up having. So Jim was correct.
That's where we get complaints a lot, when people, they get annoyed by the patches and they want to know when the roads can be paved, especially if the patch is not the best.
Right, I know
Sometimes
that. That's why we're trying,
Right.
but sometimes there are roads that, that what a lot of times happen is that some roads, different utilities go there. So
Yeah.
first you have water, then you go gas, so water is going one side of the road, but people just see that the road is terrible, but it's different batches there. And usually if it is too bad, what we do, we mill and overlay, and we've
Yeah.
also with this contract. It's not part of our regular payment. Sometimes with that, we do the whole, road.
It's one huge patch.
when it is. And then guess what happened right after? We have a water break
Yeah.
during the winter, and then we have to go out and shoot it again.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, all in favor? Unanimous again? Okay, 7A and 7B. Authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling, sorry, to execute an agreement with Pro Electric Incorporated for the electric vehicle charging stations for a total not to exceed $149,300. Account so noted, and then authorize Office of Building Management to issue change orders on the contract for a total of not to exceed $14,930. This is for charging stations that are going to be, this is the infrastructure for the charging station. Do you want to explain more about that?
Nora, how about you move this one?
I've been waiting for this one for 2 years.
I actually thought it was last week or last month.
That was.
I got, so that was.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
mistake.
I know.
Right, so this is.
Public.
I don't want to get.
This is not
too
the public
excited.
yet, you're gonna get the other one as the public, so this one.
Don't get too excited, because you got more content.
Yeah, we have two more on this, so this is
Okay.
really, pretty much the groundwork. So we need now to do the trenching, bring the conduits, bring the power and all that. And this on the 3 locations, 2 at City Hall, 1 at South Smith Street. What you guys authorized last month is really the units for behind the fence. We are still trying to figure out what will be the best option for open to the public. I'm hoping that in the next meeting we will have it. We are just trying to finalize a couple of things. And because also now, is one of the items, we also have a grant. So that's why we are trying to space out things to make sure that we can use the grant appropriately. So that's why we are trying to get the public units after, so we can use some of that money as well. But anyhow, so this is really just for the infrastructure. We're hoping to have all this installed now in the spring.
Where at City Hall are you?
So we have 2 locations here. One where we're gonna be, the behind the fence units will be on the upper lot where we have the fleet cars parked. So that is one. The other one that eventually we're gonna have the public access will be along the baseball field where we have the probate court judge parking space.
Right.
So we're gonna turn that into, pretty much the EV charger lot. And then at South Smith is behind the fence, literally behind the fence, so we can have, the fleet also charged.
Do you get the, when private companies come in, do you get involved with them, putting them in?
So this one was an open bid. So we also.
No,
put
no,
an
like-
bid.
Like, Wegmans is coming, right?
Yeah,
Are they putting any in? Do you get involved in bringing?
this is
power
our
to
planning
that?
and zoning. So what happens is that when they come for, let's say, in case a developer wanna do planning and zoning, sometimes has some regulations, or sometimes they have some asks to approve with the committee if they would like to do EV chargers or not. Our money do not go on private property. So we use all the funds that we have just to do work on city property or right of way. So we will never gonna install a EV charger on a private property with city.
I get, the reason I was asking that was the money thing, but, you know, it would be nice to have, you know, a map eventually, I'm sure there is, of where they are, and to be able to identify where locations are that we might want them.
We,
You know,
we,
as a
we are
city,
also in
you
parallel,
don't want
we're
it next to
looking in a
someone.
much bigger way of how we can expand
Yeah.
the EV chargers, but this is part
Is
of
that
a
you
bigger
or planning
plan.
and zoning?
It is a combination of few departments for that one. But as of now, we are just trying to get something out of the ground in a way that can work for us, because as I explained in the last meeting, we need the unit to be able to talk to our fleet management software. So that's why we are the ones that are having control of this one.
So would this make 3? I mean, 4 stations?
24.
24.
24.
It is the infrastructure for 24 stations.
Can you say that again?
This is the infrastructure for 24.
24. Right now we have,
We did 12 last month, which were inside the fence. We're gonna do another 12 outside the fence. And this is the infrastructure for all.
so the EV trucks, how many do we have?
One.
Is that working?
It is working because we're plugging on 110 volts. So it's taking a longer time, but as soon as this is on, also the police department, we're gonna install one of the units at the police department. It's not part of this. They have their own thing doing the work. But also he's about to also order a couple of vehicles, electrical vehicles. We cannot place an order for the vehicles until we don't
Oh,
have the
absolutely, right.
infrastructure.
So is that you or the police department's gonna,
That is the police.
so they're gonna be putting them in themselves?
They're putting the
The
chargers on
contractor
themselves.
would put it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a separate contract.
But so, this is for 24 infrastructure. we've got 12 machines, we'll get, 12 devices, and we're going to get another 12 devices. But if some of these infrastructure are going to the police department,
No, it's not.
The infrastructure, no, one of the units, yes. One of the units that we bought, that you guys approved, because to be honest, as of now, it's all dual stations. We don't have the need for that at South Smith, so we're gonna give to them because they're about to buy a car. And again, they fuel the car the same way that we need to fuel, so we'd rather put it there. So, and also we will have total control because it's the behind the fence with the software that we use.
So like the one that's at Fodor Farm, that
That-
Parks and Rec did that?
That was a totally grant and was through Parks and,
Parks and
wow,
Rec,
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And I'll talk to you more about it
Yeah.
offline on that.
That was grant funded, not city.
Yes.
I'm not concerned about,
But
I am concerned
yeah.
about money, but I'm just, it seems like there's
Heather,
things all
so
over the
that's why
place.
now- That's why it took a little bit longer to launch this. I know that we have been trying to get this on because exactly that's the idea. What is the right way of doing it? And in a way that we can really develop a model that it can be expanded throughout all the departments.
Yeah.
So that's what we are trying to establish.
And it's very exciting.
any other comments, questions? All in favor? Let's vote, okay. Okay, number 8A and 8B. Authorize Authorize Mayor Harry W. Ridley to execute an extension for 1 year agreement with AV Excavators LLC Project TMP 2022-4, concrete services, ADA ROW improvements at various locations for the amount not to exceed $500,000, account noted. And also, authorize Director of Transportation, Mobility and Parking to execute an extension for 1 year orders on contract with AV Excavators LLC for project TMT 2022-4, concrete services, ADA ROW improvements at various locations for an amount not to exceed $50,000, accounts noted. And I think we have, a motion to move this.
And I'll move the last. Oh,
Yes, I get.
oh, we get.
And so Greg, do you want to take over? Greg, or Troy, either one of you want?
Yeah, Troy Green here, road construction project manager for TMP. I have Greg Pacelli, who's our transportation planner. I just wanted to speak first to give you guys a background of the project. We got this approved through council last year, about a little more than a year ago. And last construction season was the first time that we really had anything like this, which is on-call concrete and asphalt services that are for really small scale projects. A lot of them get stemmed from customer service requests, safety concerns, necessities for crosswalks, and these all fall outside of the scopes of some of the larger projects that Vanessa and Jim spoke to before. They're really good for us to go to things on a little bit of a faster basis to better serve the community. Some of the examples that we did use under this contract last year was closing a sidewalk gap on Phyllis Street that surrounded Fox Run School. We did a set of handicap ramps and a crosswalk on North Water Street, which connects the South Door Garage and allows pedestrians to cross over safely into the Maritime Aquarium rather than walking all the way to the end of the block to pick up a crosswalk that was there. Same deal at Oyster Shell Park, right around the corner from there. There was one handicap ramp on one side, but there was nowhere for people to walk across the entrance to the park too. So they had to kind of either go over the grass or cross the street to the other side where the apartments are. And a fourth was a raised crosswalk that we did at the NRVT on Union Park South. And that allowed for people and cyclists and pedestrians who are using the trail to be elevated above the road, give them better optics for people that are coming down the hill under the Route 7 connector overpass, and also allows for a smoother cycling experience. So a wide variety that we've done so far. And we plan on addressing some more customer service and sidewalk gap projects this coming year. So we would love for you guys to approve the extension, and Greg can speak to some of those more specifically what we're planning on for next year.
Thank you, Troy, and thank you everybody for having us tonight. Just to go back a little bit before I get to the projects this year, a lot of this contract really stemmed from a sidewalk inventory that we had done a few years back, where we identified a lot of sidewalk gaps and missing ADA compliant ramps at intersections that, we can't always hinge on DPW, if the road isn't supposed to be paved for another 5 to 10 years or so, depending on the condition of the pavement, TMP, with this contract has the flexibility to go out and do the small ramps instead of, having to wait for the road to be paved. So with this flexibility of the contract, we can answer those customer service calls and also, those smaller scale projects, before the road actually gets paved. So Troy hit on some of the projects that we're, that we did last year. And then this year, we're looking to do some more safe routes to school projects around schools, such as enhanced sidewalks on Fox Run School. Last year, we had done a walk audit with the state of Connecticut, representatives from DOT, and we did a walk audit around the school there, and found a very deficient sidewalk around there. And the members and parents that were in attendance as well pointed out to us as well. So that's one project that we're looking to do. We're also looking to do a couple sidewalk segments on Route 1 Westport Avenue as well. Which was a private-public partnership with a recent development that went in there where they would, they gave TMP some money to form a small portion of sidewalk that was missing on Route 1, and then we would do the rest to make a connection right near Wolf Pit Avenue, and then the other one on Westport Avenue was also right near the Whole Foods parking lot, where right before this town line with Westport as well. We're also looking to do some intersection improvements as well near Norwalk High School at Williams at County Street as well. So just some small scale projects that will make a big impact, especially around schools and large traffic areas too. And then we'll also look to do some additional ramps and crossings throughout the year as well from wherever customer service requests that come in throughout the year.
Any questions, comments?
And all the school stuff's happening over the summer, right? Not when the construction.
Correct. Yeah. So last year when we did Fox Run School, we did it. We did it all throughout the summer. By the time school started, it was done. And this year, we had the sidewalk done, and I believe that road is getting in front of the schools getting paved as well. So that sidewalk is done on Philo Street and at the frontage of Fox Run School.
I just want to comment how much I do appreciate having this program. It is very helpful. To Barbara's points, when people say we have an issue, to be able to say, go to the Click and Request app, put it in there and get it on the list, and you will see in 12 to 18 months the opportunity to get that fixed. It really is very helpful to be able to do. So we appreciate all the work.
Great.
And that goes to them, not to you.
Correct, it's their money.
Okay.
Because you see, those are the roads, as Greg stated, that we are not close with, so that's why we have to go fix it before. But that's why we do bi-weekly, we meet and we have all these meetings when they tell us what they are doing, we tell them what we are doing. And then, for instance, if there is one of those streets that they know that there is a complaint, but we're gonna be able to fix it, they are not gonna put up as part of theirs.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, all in favor? Right. Thanks a lot, Greg. Thanks a lot, Troy.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Number 9. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Williams, to execute any and all agreements, documents, instruments, amendments, and thereto that to be necessary for the city of Norwalk to receive grant funds in the amount of $179,400 from the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, NEEP, and its WEBSE-ZEV infrastructure program for purchasing and installation of electric vehicle charging equipment, EVSE. Is there a motion?
Oh, no. I'm not competitive.
So again, this should make you very happy, Nora. This is, makes all of those charges and infrastructure, all the infrastructure that we're putting in there, it gets taken care of with this, and we actually have some money left over.
Right, so what we did, we applied for this grant probably, I think that it was over a year ago, and we really didn't know, we just applied.
Right.
So without really not knowing what we came up with, like a very general scope. And then they said that they was gonna grant us the money, and then we went back because now we had a plan, and then we said that can we use for the EV chargers, and finally on Friday, they also concurred and all that. So what we are doing, and so then you guys know, we already created what we call revenue account. We listed on every single project related to EV chargers. We do not have exactly what will be the requirements for them, that will be necessary for us to spend the money. That's the reason why I haven't yet put the public facing out, because depending on what they need, I need to follow that, because I really don't want to lose this money. So, as soon as they send all the requirements, I'm sitting down with the purchasing agent and see what we have done so far. Can we also apply for it? If she said yes, good, we already pretty much spend the money. If not, the public facing units will come from this. So that's where we are. So I'm very excited that we got this money.
That's right, absolutely. Congratulations.
So are we gonna get a revenue account for this?
No, the revenue account is already on the
Same
block.
revenue.
This one, what you guys are authorizing is that usually when we receive a grant,
Yeah.
there is a lot of paper and documents that needs to be signed by the mayor, so that's what is the resolution. So we don't need to come back, but if you go back to our item 7A, you're gonna see that, yes, the last number, it is the revenue account that I already created, and that same number is showing up in the last month. But I didn't wanna tell you last month that I may have had a grant, because, I didn't have anything.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have come back tonight.
I'm curious. I'm curious, you had another, okay, I'm curious. So with this grant, did the grants coordinator or writer help with
She
this?
does on everything.
She did this?
Yes, so Ms. Young, I love the grant coordinator. I would have her full-time working in this department. So, for us, it's a big help. Because as soon as we flag some grant opportunities, she really does most of the work for us. She's the one that really reads through everything. Then when she comes to us, we have all these ideas, and she said, I don't think this can go. Oh yeah, this may work. Then I said, go back and you look at it. Then we give all the technical part to her. We help her put together, and then we apply. Then she's the one that follows up, tells us where we are with all the documents and all that. So as soon as she told me on Friday that we got it, I called her first thing in the morning, like I took her out of bed and said, I think I need a resolution. And that's why the agenda only went out on Monday, because we were all morning trying to figure it out if in the past, because we know that we applied for this grant about 2 years ago. We went back to look at all documentation to see if we already had this in place, and we did not. So yes, I work very close with her.
Do you know, just out of curiosity, is this money part of the Biden infrastructure Build Back Better?
No, this is that folks applied in 7.
Oh, it's the Volkswagen one. Okay,
That's what it
fascinating.
is, this one.
Fascinating.
Any other
We're
comments?
still looking for them.
Yeah, because there's supposed to be
There
more
will
of that
be
money
more to
coming, right?
come.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Was any questions? All in favor? Okay, very good.
So now.
All right, now we want to
Rules.
suspend the rules for, my motion to suspend the rules.
I will move to suspend the rules.
All in favor? So we're suspending the rules because we've got another item not on the agenda. And so we just read it and then for its permission. It's authorized Mayor Harry W. Is it your comments? You just have
I don't have.
not a copy here. Anybody else need it?
Yes.
Authorize Harry W. Willing to execute an agreement between the city of Norwalk and Colonial Concrete Asphalt Paving LLC for project DRG 2024-1, Lockwood and Heather Lane drainage improvements for a sum to exceed $3,332,150, which consists of the following breakdown: $3,055,200 base bid, $148,000 sewer separation, $128,950 alternate number one, account as noted. And then we just note that on that account is a revenue account. So this is going to be made possible by a grant, and that account was funded by the grant. Associated with that is we authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on the contract between the City of Norwalk and Colonial Concrete Asphalt Paving for project DRG 2024-1, Lockwood Heather Lane drainage improvements for a sum not to exceed $333,215. Counts as needed.
I'll move that.
We're gonna get that on this shirt.
That's a great idea. I'll move that.
I'll move that for you.
So,
Do anything.
so thank you for suspending the rules. I apologize to bring this to the floor last minute. What happened is that, as most of you are aware, we did receive this grant. We even did a press conference back in the early winter, late fall, for this money, and then we ended up the whole winter finalizing the drawings for the bid out. We actually opened the bids last week. We were happy that it came also below budget, below our estimate, and that's why you'll see the breakdown, because we were afraid that if the price would come too high, we wouldn't be able to include all the alternates and all that, but it happened. But because it is a fully granted, this one, also there is some procedure, so we sent it to the state on Wednesday or Thursday. And then we were debating if we should be on the agenda, and then I said, let's not put on the agenda. Because, in case the state do not fund it or something. So we said, well, we may lose a month, and then ended up that this morning, it came back and said, we approved, we know this. I think that what was good, I have to say that I was very, very surprised with the two day turnaround. We have 3 projects that we sent to DCD because we have a lot, also the RDA. And I think that, we're building a very good relationship with them, because that's what they know exactly that we really are following the rules. And I think that this open future doors for even future grants that we apply. So that's why the reason that it came to it, because it makes a big difference. We don't lose a whole month. And so we were able to now, if you guys approve that, we'll be able to get into the contract and hopefully break ground for the spring. So, and as you guys know, this is really a drainage project on the area of Heather and Lockwood. That area, we are very excited that we got this money, that people suffer a lot during major storms for many, many years. And we know there will be major improvements to the area. So it will be pretty much one of our highlight project of this year, I would say, right, Jim?
I would say I believe it's about the biggest one. Actually, at the moment, so.
Yeah, so we'll take a little over a year to build this. Over a year. It is
It-
quite
It's
extensive.
covering a large area
Yeah,
of the, not just one road, but various types of drainage structures, where, some, even some of the residents out there who should be, given accommodation for this, they agreed to have, new systems going in between their properties, just to facilitate, just as courtesy to the whole neighborhood. They should be commended for that. And, the design engineers, Artai and Von Bush, were the ones that we saw right before.
Okay.
They tend to do a very good job, and it was a challenging one, but with the coordination with us, everything seemed to be going pretty well. So we're very excited to get this going, especially when it's not being paid for by us.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can't beat the price.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would just like to add, I mean, you know, this has been being talked about and the residents there have really, been through a lot. And, you know, to have it paid for with the grant is just amazing. It's really amazing.
We're looking to do other areas too. Yes, this is the start for this.
and if I can, I want to add two things, I think that also, I appreciate the support of the whole administration, because this is our second big drainage project. We're finishing Dreamy Hollow, that is over $9 million.
Yeah.
This will be another one that will really help a lot of residents.
Up there, Chad.
Right, and then we have a few others that we did this year, so I think that, again, with the financial support, and sometimes we know that it's not there. And I really have to thank all the staff, because we put this grant in less than 36 hours. That's how, was the time that we had, when we heard about it, we tried to put it in. We stopped everything and we put the application, and then we got it. And then again, we were really trying to make to the agenda, and I had no hope anymore. I said, let's pull it out, and then it came back. So,
Between last Thursday and today, I think I spent more time over with you guys. You guys can run around like chicken with a head
I
cut.
think I worked 52 hours last week. I
Yeah,
counted.
but you're on vacation, weren't you going on vacation?
I haven't.
Yeah, I know.
Moved there, we'll leave it.
No, I'll go, eventually I'll go, but anyhow, so yeah, I'm glad that this worked out. And then it was already like almost 3 months ago. It looks like as if I just came back.
I think the thing that's really impressive, I was just noting, it says 158 properties. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
that's huge. I hear a lot of people complaining too. But it sounds like it's 10, 20 properties at most, but 150 properties is a huge impact in
Yeah.
the city, so.
I think also it just boggles my mind, the amount of grant money that you guys get. It just goes to show you that, I mean, it's just a bunch of really dedicated people, dedicated managers, dedicated people that are working out there, working hard to get this thing done. And being opportunistic when you see a grant that's out there, to jump on the way. And that's just.
Do you provide us with the list of grant funds like through the year? Versus what would, like,
Who holds that list is the grant for.
I mean, just for this department, I think we would ask for too, but it would be interesting to know just how much. this
Yeah,
department-
I have that list, I'm happy to share with you guys, maybe in one, maybe towards the end of the year with the metrics. Okay,
Yeah,
I
we
will
can
do
do
that,
that.
that's
I think
what I
that's-
say, how
Well,
much
you
we were.
did, in the beginning of this year, you did show some of those metrics.
Right,
And-
but I don't think you put the amount of grants.
Well, you might have talked about.
Yeah, I think we talked, we got 7, 8 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say $8 million.
I think that's significant, and I think people need to know that, right? That it's not just the city fund, particularly when we're going through this budget.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I've been saying, and the fact that, TNP is working with something. $40 million.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can go all the way down the line, and everybody, the perception is that we're spending money like drunken sailors. And we've got tremendous managers for every one of these departments. And I think that we owe them an awful lot to be able to manage these things and be opportunistic in these grants when they're.
I mean, that's dashboard information, because folks are always saying we don't do enough, we don't do enough.
Yeah.
So here's the grant, but we do,
idea.
but we do that.
That's a good idea.
It's a really good idea.
Vanessa,
Yes,
Do you, is your grant coordinator, her workload, could she use support? She's got it under control and there's no additional grant support that you need? Would a second grant writer be helpful? How do you feel about that?
She works part-time only,
Oh,
Melissa, so she's a part-time, the grant coordinator is a part-time person, I think that maybe eventually
The city could benefit.
the
from a
city
full-
that probably can benefit from, I would say a department, not only a full-time,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of opportunities, because it's not only applied. That's
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't understand. There is a lot of paperwork after the fact.
yeah.
So
Killer.
unfortunately, there are times that we see all these opportunities coming, but we have also to say, this one is not worth applying, because sometimes the value of the money will cost us much more just to do the reports, and we do not have the staff to. So I think that, as the city continues to expand, I think that is some type of investment that maybe everyone should consider.
Thank you. I appreciate
But
that.
as of now, she,
Talk
the
about
the
that.
person, I only have very
We
good
do.
things to talk about her, I really enjoy working with her. We have a very good relationship, and she's very good considering that she's here part-time. She's always on top of everything and she takes it very personal. And it's not easy when you apply to those grants, the system to upload. It is, that's why I was saying, she does all the hard work. The other day she stayed until midnight because the system was not working. And we had the deadline and she only finished when went in.
Well, I was
You know, I
impressed
think
when
it's based on her experience. She has a great deal of experience. She came to us with a great deal of experience, so she knows what she's doing.
I was impressed when you said that we got 8 million in grants, but I'm even more impressed when you're telling me we have a part-time person and not a full-time person doing it. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
The city.
For the city. She just, I monopolize a lot of her time. But she's not a public works staff.
This is in the finance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's right, finance. She's under the CFO.
I think also too is that you guys have to play a very significant role in identifying where those grants are going. Grant writers are going to do. that.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So,
And your expertise in the field.
Right, sometimes we change the language to be able to accommodate, we wait a little bit the project, because we say we can probably, if we do a. And when, the other day, we didn't get one grant, and then I asked for a meeting, because I want to understand why I didn't get the grant, not
Right.
because of what, because this way we can understand what that agency is looking for, what type of projects
Right.
that they are looking to fund, because, okay, I don't get this year, but I'll come up with another 20 for next year based on what they're looking for. So,
And I also I would applaud all of you, as you said, with your quick turnaround time from the state. I really appreciate having a department that is so conscientious and so buttoned up that people rely on us and trust us. I think that, as you say, that makes the entire grant process easier over and over when you become a repeat player. So I really appreciate, because I know that that's not easy. It takes a lot of attention to detail and compliance and all that. So we very much appreciate, the work of you and your staff on doing that. Because that then allows us to leverage all this going forward, hopefully in ever expanding cycles. Thank you.
okay, any other comments, questions? Okay, all in favor? Okay. That concludes the resolutions we have, is in the package is, status report. I think, is there anybody have any questions on that? Or can we see if you answer some questions? We also have, Tom Zabel on solid waste. But I think in light of the fact that we have to go be upstairs in 20 minutes, anybody has any questions on it?
Just very quickly, I know that the timeline has now been expanded to waste management plan, but do we have any sense of when we're getting a report?
Not yet, probably, I have my next meeting with them in 2 weeks. So after that, they still need to finalize the As soon as I have even a draft, I'll show.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. Okay.
We do, our annual report is already online, you know, that we do every year. Yeah, this is more like the whole plan should be in compliance with, and with the, budget. That one is not finalized.
And I love strategic plans.
Any questions at all? Melissa, any questions?
Ask about the tree thing.
Yeah.
Tree operations, are they starting cutting now? And stuff?
Chris, have we started cutting any trees?
I've already been getting emails from. folks.
Well, usually if it is an emergency, we would, but Chris can answer.
I'm sorry,
When
can
are
you,
they starting?
can you repeat the question?
Question.
When does tree trimming start? Like, when can people expect that there's gonna be people out in the neighborhoods doing that?
It's continuous, throughout the whole year.
So
We are,
could you expand on what the
so-
criteria is?
we are very responsive to service requests, so we get service requests through customer service or any other, medium, to customer service, and then we remove trees, within 10 days of posting them. And we prune for safety pruning, not for aesthetics.
So that's going on right now, the safety for me.
Yes. So if you look at the sheet this past month, we did, we removed 23 trees. It's not 223. And for safety pruning, we safety pruned 36 trees, and the species are on the backup.
Chris, just out of curiosity, with this incredible, insane amount of rain that we have had, are we seeing a higher number of trees down than usual, or sort of safety risk trees? Or is it, I mean, because I know we had a terrible problem with drought 2 years ago, and it's like, feels like we literally, like, we're going back and forth in our concerns about our trees. They're getting too dry, too wet, but I just was curious if, see
Believe it or
more-
not, we haven't had many tree issues with the heavy rain and the wind. If it was springtime and we were getting these winds and rains, you'd get a lot of trees uprooted because there's a canopy.
right,
And that's what causes that. But I believe in the last storm, we had one major tree that fell down onto wires. That took quite a bit of time for Eversource to respond to, because there was very few crews for 6 different towns. So we do not prune around wires or remove trees from wires. Eversource does that through their contractor Lewis, or we would hire our contractor Olmsted, who are qualified to do that.
And Nora, just read a little bit to that, as you know, we have an arborist now on staff, right? And that is under like the regs and parts. So one of her tasks is to develop, I would say, a management plan also to take care of some of the trees that are not as healthy. And then we're coming up with some criterias on, you know, so for instance, a tree that may not be looking too good next to a playground will be a high priority to be removed. Instead of a tree that may not be looking as nice in the middle of the woods. So we are now establishing, we are building right around her how we want it, because the way that we envision the future is that we're gonna have some type of a forestry department, something like that. So one of the tasks that I asked her to do is that we have what we call a core team. So she sits down, actually today was one of the meetings that Chris attended. So it's operations, her, engineering, and then that's when they start assessing, okay, we have those requests, which ones should we really prioritize? Because again, we have a limited budget, you know, we cannot go, like last month, you guys approved an extension of funding into our Olmsted contract to cut trees. So we have a limited budget, so which trees are really gonna need to be cut? So how we prioritize if we have this amount of money? So that is something that also she is developing, and then there will be some certain guidelines that we'll follow. So kind of pretty much we're gonna rate, and then we'll be able to prioritize some of those trees.
Just so you guys know, at the meeting I attended earlier today, the tree assessment study that we hired the consultant to do, and they identified over 2,000 trees in the Sono and Parks area of South Norwalk and East Norwalk. And they recommended 57 trees be removed that we haven't looked at yet. But I thought that was pretty good that they were doing an assessment and only found 57 trees in their whole survey that they felt were risks to property or so we're investigating those now. But those would be priority because they've been identified. We know about them now. They become, I hate to say this word about trees, but sometimes when they're dead, they become liabilities. They no longer be our assets. I know raccoons think they are and squirrels. But
Do we have any kind of measurement about how much tree canopy that it, percentage wise is?
so
like-
right now the city's tree canopy is about 43%.
Now, I'm wondering about those 50 trees, like how much tree canopy we're gonna lose.
Well, we are,
Well, the other thing.
Well, we
that
have
want-
25,000 trees.
How many do we plant this year?
518.
That's not.
521.
520, and we cut it 92. 9, we cut it 92.
We may need to plant
Yeah,
5
92.
trees. Remove the tree canopy from one.
So
Big,
with this
sorry.
other study that we have is exactly that, like, okay, how, if we cut that, how will affect the canopy? And we need our goals, as part of the master plan and the recs and parks, we're growing the canopy. So if we cut that, we have to have a very aggressive plan to be able to reestablish the canopy and be able to meet our goals.
You know, I wish the tree conversation could be more results that you see right away. We're about 20% deficient from where they say a city our size should be. 10% is more realistic, and that's our goal over the next 10 years is to get 10% back and then go from there.
And this is all, Chris, this is all gonna be pretty much in the South Norwalk area? That
Well,
area?
we're identifying, we know we're deficient in the South Norwalk quadrant, but we're also identifying other open space and opportunities to plant trees. It's not as easy as one thinks to plant a bunch of trees, that you can't plant them under telephone, utility wires anymore at all. But we have some spaces like on Hunter's Lane at Ponus School where we might be able to plant along Hunter's Lane in the right of way and kind of give it some buffer to the road. So we do have some opportunities in some of our schools. The outlining of the schools along the sidewalk, like it used to be, would look great.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm screaming over people. Chris, was there a plan at one point or is there now a plan to put the tree canopy information on the mayor's dashboard? I think in sustainability committee, I thought I heard that information.
Yeah, I think we're just waiting to wrap up what the assessment came back with. And then we're coming up with a master plan for our tree canopy and open space that Vanessa alluded to earlier with Sarah. So once we get that up and going, there'll be a map, I believe, on the city's website that talks more about where we're planting trees and about our tree program.
That's gonna be really cool. Thank you.
So I know I was on the health department, community leader group. And I know Hudson to Housatonic, that group had a map of all the tree canopy and where it was and stuff like that. I don't know if they.
Yeah, I thought we do have one.
We do have
Probably
one.
link it to.
No, I think we do have one. I think
Yeah.
Sarah gave us a little presentation. Chris, didn't Sarah show us a map with all the tree inventory on it?
Yeah, there is one for sure.
Yeah, there's one, she couldn't access it, she was having login problems, but she actually was interested in maybe the next Public Works. I was gonna talk with Vincent about it, but I didn't see her this afternoon, about doing a presentation on what she's working on when we're going with our tree canopy and kind of how all of, she's pulling all the groups together, TMP. She meets with every group, not just DPW operations. So if you're interested, we can set something up like that for the next Public Works meeting.
So I had some trees cut down. Not far from where I live, and it looked like it was a sliver of state property. And they cut the branch, I have stumps, trunks.
I have a 40-foot stump in front of my yard.
Yeah, is that normal? Is that what sometimes they don't?
That is not normal.
Is that normal?
No, not at all. So just so you know, we have a policy. Let us know, because once we take a
I'm
tree
gonna
down,
take
we don't
pictures
leave
and
it.
I'll bring it in so you can.
And we
There's a lot.
we grind the stumps.
That's the little trigger one we need to go.
I was told they put a phone in my yard.
I actually live at the Norton, over near the Norton place, and same thing near the highway. So I think it's a state thing, Darlene. I think you're absolutely right that, because they had to take that down, some trees down there for the construction, and we have these like half-level
Yeah.
stumps.
It's horrible looking. It looks like it was a burnt out, I mean, it must have been about 3 or 4 trees and all you see are these. It looks like
Just give
giant
it to
stumps.
customer service will look at it, and then even if it is somebody else, we can.
It's not
ask
you
them.
guys, because what happened.
But
was
we
that
have the
was
chance.
got
Might have
involved,
been, yeah.
And they are not nice. And the guy was mean to me, so I just hung up.
But we go to the eye.
For that, right.
We go
It's
to
like,
the.
the owls will have some place.
So in those instances, we should.
Just go.
Yeah, go on the-
Okay,
yeah.
customer service.
I have the app. Quick request.
My life is too short. No, it is annoying. It's like, it's not a hill I want to die on. It's like, whatever, the raccoons or wolves will have some place to be. It looks bad, but.
Do we have any other motions?
Stuff I should don't I?
Motion to adjourn.
Other battles, but-
So much.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.